All right, welcome to the channel. We have a very special take for you as summer is coming in. The sun is out. It is blazing. It's a time of relaxation, water, fun. And because of that, I have a very special for you. The professor is in himself, class is in session, and I figured we could do a fun, what is some top 5 manga for the summer reading list. So this is the after school summer homework that you do want. So today, each of us are going to share our 5 recommendations for the summer that you should check out and enjoy if you've not already.
Sounds good. Summer homework is debatable. I don't like summer homework. Yet as we grow up and become adults, it seems like we have more homework. Actually, because we don't have vacations. Yeah. All right. So let's get started with number 1. So my number 1 is Assassination Classroom. And for those of you who have checked out my channel and know a little bit about my reading history, I came in as a Shonen Jump fan. Am I necessarily a big Shonen Jump fan now? No, not necessarily. Am I a big Battle Shonen fan? No, not necessarily. But what I will say with Assassination Classroom and why I think it's a perfect summertime read is that it has everything that you want in a battle shonen. It's got great chemistry between the characters, lots of great friendships, and you're in that school environment. Of course, as you're leaving school, you definitely don't want to interact with your teacher. So what's the best way to do that than go ahead and try to assassinate this octopus guy from space, which is absolutely hilarious. It's done very, very well. It's a very wholesome read, but it also has a great mix of action and it's a lot of stuff going around outside as well. So yes, this is one of my favorite Shonen Jump battle shonen manga of all time, and I highly recommend it if you want a totally laid back read, one that you can kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy the summertime with it.
That is fantastic. And especially if it's going to be a banned book, you might as well start
That
reading it now before it's
do
taken out
you
of schools.
Do you think it will be a banned book? Or you think it will like be something that goes past what we were dealing with? And I think it was Florida, or Wisconsin. I think it was Florida. I think it was one district in Wisconsin. I did a whole video on it. I can't believe I'm like not remembering it. I think it was a one district in Wisconsin and then like a bunch of places in Florida. But I think that was a little bit of an overreach. I think that kind of phase has died down or whatever.
I'm teasing. All right, for next, I have this might be a little corny, but I'm gonna go with summertime rendering for the summer. This is it's Udon Entertainment came out with it. There it's 6 2-in-1 volumes, so 12. It's not that bad. But this is just a guy goes back to his island that he hasn't been to in 2 years, and it's a mystery. It's a dark thriller. You'll keep you at the edge of the seat. It has some of the best manga panels I've seen in a while for a story. It was one that grips me the entire time. It's probably one of the better time loop stories that I've read, where it's like a live, die, repeat, where all you need is kill, but a better fantasy, dark horror story. It's one that gripped you to the very end, and it had just such a satisfying ending. So often when we get these type of horror mystery stories, you get this huge climax and then just falls apart. But this is one that I just absolutely love. There's water, the sun is out, and it was just a phenomenal read, and it was one that just gripped me the entire time.
Nice. I need to read that so bad. I've been sitting on those box sets forever. All right, so for my number 2 is a josei series, and I know that this is a demographic that's not necessarily widely available in Western markets, but as we continue to go throughout the years, we're starting to see more josei come out, and this is one of the most established josei out there, and one of my favorite mangakas of all time, Higashimura Sensei, and that is Princess Jellyfish. It is a 9-volume in the omnibuses from Kodansha. It's a phenomenal story. It follows this girl who lives with a bunch of other girls in this apartment complex, and they find out that the owner of the apartment is trying to sell that whole complex, and they have to move out But the big issue is that they're otaku in all different kinds of facets, and they're all kind of shelled in, and they don't want to expand into the real world. And so they're trying to fight to save their house from going away. It is a phenomenal story, super heartwarming. Higashimura Sensei just does a great job with writing a really interesting storyline and making Josei just applicable to all different kinds of readers. So the way that her storytelling is phenomenal. The comedy in it is fantastic. The art is really, really good with all the different face gags, and she does a great job with all of the character design and the clothing design, because this is a clothing manga. But please don't let that stop you from checking out this Josei series. As a male manga reader, I found this to be very much an interesting look into the Josei series and a perfect first step for a beginner and a perfect summer read.
I have the box set, but I have not read it yet.
Oh,
I'm embarrassed. That is phenomenal. Thank you. Yeah, that is one that I definitely need to check out. And I mean, I thought Kodansha also did a good job. Isn't it? It's the box set is not a hardcover, but it is a fairly nice.
yeah, it's a paperback.
Yeah, it's fairly nice. So my next one, I will butcher the name, and you can always correct me on it. My wife always says, no, that's not how you say it when I do my videos. But I want to say Yokohama Kadeshi Kikoru.
Yokohama Kadashi Kiko, I think is how you
Kiko,
say it.
yes, that's how you say it. So this is there's Seven Seas brought this out. This is one of those slice in life that I don't know if we ever thought was going to come to America, that I'm so grateful that Seven Seas brought out. We have the first 2 deluxe editions have been brought out, and man, it's such a good slow slice of life. And the reason why I picked this for the summer is it's one of those few few manga that it doesn't have a whole lot of words, but I catch myself just slowly going through the pages at a slower pace. And it actually helps you to just reflect on what normal everyday life might be boring, but it's what most of us usually have, whether life doesn't always have to be an adventure. So whether that's going out for a swim, just taking a walk in the park, having coffee with a friend, it really reflects on the importance of being in the moment and present and be able to take advantage of like these are good things. It's not just, oh, it's so boring. So
Right.
I've had a really good time going through this manga so far, and just really made me just reflect on my own life, where sometimes I might think I'm not doing enough or not having as much of an adventure, instead of being able to live in the moment that I have.
Absolutely. It's a very introspective manga. You're reading it and you're going, oh, like on surface level, it could be considered very boring. But then you look at the ratings on like My Anime List, for example, high 8s, and you go, how in the world is it like this? And then you realize that this manga is trying to say a message. And I think what you said is the message it's exactly trying to portray. And there's many different levels of messaging that this manga is trying to do. There's definitely some more important chapters in this manga, but then the chapters where it's like they go for a swim, for example, and you just go, man, this seems like nothing, but it really is something in the grand scope of this masterpiece of a manga. So yeah, it's not really what I would recommend to like a first time manga reader. And I think maybe you feel the same way. I think it might be a little bit of a stretch if somebody just is like, what is this? This is just kind of boring. But if you are looking for something different, this is just a phenomenal manga for you to just like chill out on the couch on like a rainy, humid day and just like have an absolute blast.
Yes, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels the same way.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny that we just finished off with that one, because now we're going to move into one that's very similar vibes to it. I did not want to put too many out of print series on here, but I do have one, and that one is Aria the Masterpiece from Tokyo Pop. Very similar vibes to YKK. This follows a girl who goes to the planet Aqua. She's in this Venetian city, and she's trying to become an Undine, which is kind of like the tour guide of the city. And it is an absolutely phenomenal slice of life manga, one of my favorite slice of life manga of all time, because it's set in this water world. It's just super relaxing, and these environments that she's in as she's trying to explore becoming the best tour guide she could possibly be. The world is immersive. It's absolutely beautiful. It's slow paced, but it's also fast paced at the same time, not only with our character development, but also with some legitimate story progression, which is always a good thing in a slice of life manga. But I really, really enjoyed this, especially when you play the soundtrack with it while you're reading. Oh, it just puts you in like a whole different like world that you just don't want to leave from. So yes, Aria the Masterpiece is truly a masterpiece, one I highly recommend. If you can't find the physicals of it, see if you can read it online, but it is definitely one of my favorite summer reads. I would love to reread it this summer for sure.
Could not agree more with you how wonderful that is. It's one of my daughter's favorite. She's already read it 3 times since I've got it.
Whoa,
And
three?
I'm like, and she's 11, and sometimes I'm like, but these are out of print. I don't know.
Right.
We
Like
need to be
don't damage
careful.
don't damage the gold trim, right?
But it is a beautiful journey, and I think it's a good slice of life. I have never thought of listening to the soundtrack while.
Oh, it changes this manga. I'm dead serious. It just puts you in the right mood. It works so well with the actual manga itself. And I mean, I know it's kind of cliche or whatever because it came from an anime, but Nozami Entertainment, when they worked with the composer, I mean, they just did such a great job in encapsulating what this manga's vibe is supposed to be with that soundtrack. And oh, I just chef's kiss. It's just so great, especially coming from a musician. Like, I just think it really works in setting the mood. So,
And my next one is going to be a Grand Blue Dreaming. This is for those who are going into that college life, or you wonder what the college life vicariously would be, but want to know what it would be like if you wanted to kill your liver twice and have the most embarrassing of situations. This might be the manga for you. There's many times I've not had a manga where I've just laughed out loud for my side hurting. There are parts that are very awkward where I'm like, oh, I don't know if that aged well. But it's been a fun read, and I'm surprised. It's one of those manga that there's 19 volumes out now, and I never thought that towards the later volumes how much I'd actually care about the characters. So it starts off where it has so much of the gag, but then there's good drama, and then the main character is not as much of a scumbag as you usually think.
yeah.
And then you really care about what's happening to the characters as they're now going through college and now looking at what it looks like to that second year, and also that focus of transition. And then even though we call it a diving manga, I mean, I did learn a little bit about diving, but it's not the main focus. It's more of a subplot, but it also has great artwork there. And it actually, even though I've never thought about diving before, I now want to look into it. So I think it says something about a manga where it makes you care about a subject you didn't really care about at first.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You now want to look into. So I was just thinking of the water, and I mean part of the summer is if you have a pool around you or a lake or or the ocean, I mean many times. So because there's such a focus of just fun, and that's in the sun, this is one that I've laughed a lot. There are some cringe moments in my opinion, and some harassment that wouldn't fly, but yeah, that's a Grand Blue Dreaming. Do you have any take on it?
I actually only read one volume of it, and it was 2 years ago. And then I loved the first volume so much, I bought the whole thing, at least up to date what it was 2 years ago. And then I never read it again. I didn't keep reading it. So I've been sitting on it for like forever. So I really need to get back into it. But, what I will say about Grand Blue Dreaming is that, it's rated number 9 or something like that on my anime list. It's like, man, number 9. Why is it number 9? Like, out of all the manga out there. And I think what Grand Blue is really appealing to a lot of people, it's similar to Golden Kamui, is that there's like a lot of different flavors with this manga. So it's not just like a one trick pony. You know, like you said, there's the diving. So you're learning something while you're reading this. You get the college life. So that's a different vibe. And then you get all the different characters and all their hijinks that they get into. And it kind of encapsulates itself into this whole complete package that is Grand Blue Dreaming, which is why I think this works really well as a manga for a lot of people, because there's going to be something in here that you're going to like a lot. And so, at least for me, I love learning stuff. So, diving would definitely be the thing that would gravitate me more towards this manga. But hey, if I can have a good laugh every once in a while I'm reading it too, that's also another plus. All right, so for my fourth pick here, we have Barakamon, and it is an 18-volume series from Yen Press, and it follows this young calligraphist who lives in the big city. He has a real issue controlling his temper, and he takes it out on a judge one day during a competition. So his dad ships him off to an island and says, "You got to figure your life out." And it's this slice of life island series following this guy as he interacts with all of the villagers, a humongous cast of characters. But the best part about this manga are the children. The children are super heartwarming. It is absolutely hilarious to see what kind of hijinks they get in with the Barakamon main character, say Honda, and it is just a phenomenal story that progresses very well. You're invested in all the characters, and it's one of those manga that you can kind of just transport yourself to into this like really country bumpkin island life, just like what would my life be if I lived out in the sticks. So it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend. It's one of my favorite slice of life manga of all time, and it's an absolute blast.
I sadly have it all. My daughter has read it, but I have not read it.
Oh, it's good.
I
It's a quick read. It's a quick read, so you can definitely get through it pretty fast.
Yeah, I hear it's one of the best slice of life that's out there. All right, coming to my number 4. This has just stolen my heart. It's probably one of my favorite new series that are out, and that is Skip and Loafer. This series is I wish this was available and something I read when I went to high school. It just gave me a better understanding of friendships, different people's point of view. You're seeing, for example, people, you can see those who are trying to fit in and can't. You'll see those who that are extremely popular, the downside of that popularity, the insecurities where you're just trying to be liked, or if you tell somebody no, just or they don't like you for you, or for you instead of your looks. So for example, one of the main girls, she makes this painting, and then people aren't complimenting the painting because she made it. They're only complimenting it because of her. So the paint itself. So it's just a phenomenal story. It's made me reflect on my own life. These were the friends I wish I had when just such a phenomenal cast. And it gave me similar vibes to the game called Persona 4, where at the end you have this group where you don't want the story to end, you just want to keep staying with these people, you wish you could be friends forever. And I feel that same way with Skip and Loafer. So it's funny, it's a great high school slice of life, and also just gave you different perspectives of how people are. And again, it just made me want to be a better person and a better friend.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, what makes this work as like a summertime read is because, you know, when we go into the summer and like we're all busy with stuff and we kind of just get like lost and we don't like hang out with our friends, or like we just have like blinders on, we just kind of do our own thing. So I think Skip and Loafer is just a great summertime manga to make you go, oh, I should go hang out with my friends. I should probably go touch grass just in general, but like but you know, like hang out with your friends, keep these connections up whether you're in school or out of school as a working adult. I think it's just a great way for you to go, hey, you know what? Like summertime is the time where we're supposed to all hang out. So even if I do have to go to work, like, hey, let's go grab dinner or something after and just hang out for a little bit. So yeah, love Skip and Loafer. Love the main character girl. She is phenomenal. So for my last manga here on this summertime recommendations list, I have Laid Back Camp. It is a 13-volume series ongoing right now from Yen Press, and it follows this high school camping club as they go camping all across Japan. But if you're looking to touch grass or just enjoy the outdoors of Japan while in the comfort of your beautiful couch at home, I highly recommend this series. It has all the different flavors and tastes that you want in a manga. You've got very funny dynamics and relationships and really great characters. You have all these different places around Japan. It's very educational. It talks about camping and all the different assets about camping that you may not have known about, from what kind of tent to use, to winter camping, to what to deal with in the summer, what kind of equipment do you need. And then also you get all of the different environments and the different scenarios that happen with this manga. The art style is super unique, very, I want to call it avant-garde, but it has a lot of different kind of unique shading. It takes this kind of a lens where, you know, when you have a camera like with the fisheye lens, it has that kind of scoped in look. It's very similar to how this manga kind of does some of its paneling. So it's really interesting. I highly recommend Laid Back Camp for a summertime read. It's just such a great way for you to just explore a different possibility of summer that maybe us as otaku don't necessarily explore that much.
No, I usually don't do well in the outdoors.
You're telling me when a bear comes at you, you don't know what to do?
They do sell bear spray at Costco, so
there you go. They just get the huge container,
and they give you a 2-pack in case you
in case two bears are coming at you, you could just double hit it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually crossing my fingers that this is on the Right Stuff Anime birthday sale. It's
has it been on the sale? It has not. It's about due time that
I know, but Yen Press is usually rough on Right Stuff Anime.
They swung and missed last winter. I was sorely disappointed with what they put up. So
yeah, so I'm crossing my fingers. It's one that's been on my radar. You've sold me on it, so hopefully it's
definitely one to pick up. I can't highly recommend it enough. I even have the Nendroids of some of the characters, so that tells you how much I like. If I buy a figure for it, it means I really like it.
That's awesome. So my last one, this might be obvious for some people, it might frustrate some people, but the reason why I'm bringing this last one up is a lot of us have a lot of time on our hands, mostly usually in the summer. So this is a manga that the last couple summers I have been reading as I've been trying to get the box sets. There's over 100 volumes out of this series. It is just so fun. And I know so many people are like, oh, I don't want, it's just so daunting of a task. I don't want to get started. Or there's a lot of people that stopped and never picked it back up. So this is for those of you guys who have time this summer. If you're like, I already blasted through all your guys' recommendations, give me something more heavy. It's my number one of all time, but this is One Piece. So I don't know how much more to sell. It's one of the best manga out there. I mean, I enjoy the manga better than the anime. What they say, if you watch all the anime episodes straight, it would take 16 days. So I don't have 16 days. But I do have time for the manga, and you can go so much faster. And or you go on the Viz app, you can read 100 chapters a day. I mean, get caught up. So I wanted to give something out there for people that, man, if you have more time on your hand, it is worth the investment, even though it does seem daunting, especially for, as I talk to new people and they're like, oh, it's something I've always wanted to check out, but I just know it's so much. For those of you that have some extra summer vacations, or you're looking for something to read where you have more time, I think it's a journey that's incredibly worth it. And it's one that where you can just read a bunch, and then even if you want to stop and pick it up later, it's something fairly easy to do.
You know, I've never talked about my thoughts on One Piece on my channel before, so no spoilers, of course, but this is how I would convince somebody to read One Piece for somebody who hasn't ingested it or has ingested it and said, no, I'm not doing this. One Piece can be approached however you want it to be. It is a very deep manga. These arcs have lots of politics, character dynamics, and craziness that happens. And if you want your manga, if you want to look into that really deeply, you can totally go for it and you're going to get a lot out of it. If you want it to be a turn your brain off manga where it's just a fun battle shonen, funny, hilarious hijinks, let it be that way to you. You don't even have to look too deep into it. Just let it be that kind of read for you. If you want to binge all 104 volumes out right now, go ahead and binge it. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. But if you're somebody like me and can't read something like that all continuously, the arcs are perfect stopping points for this manga, and you can ingest One Piece in very palatable ways. I have been reading One Piece since 2019, and I'm only on volume 45. I just finished Water 7, and I basically read like one arc a year. That's all I do. That's all the One Piece I want. And I just like get my little fix in, and then I go on and do the rest of my reading for the rest of the year. And then I come back to One Piece whenever I'm ready. I haven't read One Piece in like a year and a half, but I know when I get back to One Piece at volume 45, I'm going to remember exactly where I am, and I'm going to be able to start at a really good spot because the arcs are perfect stopping points. So that's my convincing argument for One Piece in terms of rereadability, just general readability, whether it's something that's accessible to the new manga reader. So yeah, and then with the Viz manga app, or the Shonen Jump app, there's just no excuse. You don't even have to worry about collecting the physical volumes. You know, it is all digital and it's all accessible. So yeah, I highly recommend you check out One Piece.
I mean, there's something to be said about a manga that's been going on 20 years and still peak.
Absolutely. For the quality of storytelling that it has in every, and yeah, some arcs are better than others, but you can't sit and say that like one arc was absolute trash, which you can say that about a lot of manga. Like, man, it really took a dip here or whatever. You know, they say that about Promise Neverland. I mean, I have my own problems with Jujutsu Kaisen, but that's a different story for a different time. You know, Demon Slayer is just boring throughout the whole thing, so it's fine, you know, but you know, One Piece, even though some of the arcs aren't as interesting as, say, the others, it still has something to offer, not only to the main story, but just something as a reader. You're going to find something you're going to like with it. So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, One Piece. Yeah.
So I just finished Wano's the last major arc that finished, and I'll say there are low lows, but there are also high highs.
Uh-huh.
And just it's still the world building, the story. I mean, just everything. It's one of those things where you're just so fascinated about the lore and what's going on, almost like my wife's obsessed with Lord of the Rings, with the maps and where they've gone and the different politics in the regions, and they've just, oh man, Oda has just done a phenomenal job creating a world that you would want to live and be a part of. All right, so those are our recommendations for you this summer. In the comments below, we'd love to know if we're right at all, if we are wrong. What are recommendations that you might have for others that they should check out and that they should read this summer?
Well, we hope that you guys enjoyed the video. This is a very fun collaboration. Thanks to Scott over at GTP. I highly recommend you subscribe to his channel. Go ahead and check my channel out at Prof Otaku if you're interested. But Scott, thanks for letting me on the show. And I hope that you guys just have an absolute blast with these manga and check out any of the other recommendation videos that we have on our channels, because there's definitely something out there for you.